The biggest threat to my role in society, um, I would say lack of information and promotion of the bad stuff, like promotion of like hypersexuality or just a whole bunch of things like he was saying as far as like social media and just the things that are promoted that's always in our face. We might have questions about um and then not having that male accountability, that's a big threat to us as well. If we don't have other seasoned males around us who we could confide in, talk to or trust, um, that's going to be difficult for us to try to figure it out on our own. Because I'm
Now, before we get any further, please make sure you take the time right now and hit the like button. That's right, hit the like button and subscribe. Welcome back to another episode of Can You Relate? I'm your host, Shannon P., and I have your co host, Ifa Bukola, on the line.
All
Ifa
right.
Bukola. All right, and we have our usual panelists. But this time it's going to be, we're going to do it from a male's perspective, some guys only tonight. We have Jeremiah, who's a regular. Hey, Jeremiah
Sir.
J. And we also have William Will.
What's going on?
Hey, Will. And they are representing the younger youth, adults, in their mid 20s. And so, and then Ifa Bukola is representing everybody else. And I am just your host. So, my question is we're going to be quick. We're going to do something different tonight. It's going to be kind of more of a spitfire. So I'm gonna be quick. I'm gonna ask every body of the panelists their opinions. But the topic tonight, let me give the topic because we have people on our panelists, guys, who do not like knowing what the subject is going to be about beforehand. They want to be raw with it. They want to come off the dome. So I respect that. So let me go ahead and tell you guys what we are going to be talking about. Roles. Like, what is your role this evening? My role is a host for this show, and you guys' role is to be guest speakers and co-hosts, right? We all have roles. So now we're going to talk about male roles, okay? What is the male's role? What is your opinion? I'm going to call your name. What is your a male's role in the house and in society? I'm going to lead this with William. Will.
Put me on the spot right away. Yeah. Nah, that's what's up. No, that's a great question. You said male roles and what
In the house and in society.
in the house and in society. Um, it's not
And try to
complicated,
keep
I
your
would think.
response,
Yeah.
if we press for time, try to, get the rawness, the truth out there, but make sure we at Spitfire right now.
Okay. Well, where I'm at now, I'll try to put it simply as I can. Where I'm at now is as a man, I'm a servant. I'm understanding that I have to serve and that my servitude is for everybody else around me. Now, I'll be taken care of in the process, but to serve. So in the household, it's to serve, it's to be there to assist and aid in the day to day functions in whatever capacity. So if I can help out, I see how much the benefit is for me simply helping in the household. Now, in society, I believe it's the same thing because in the household you're practicing for when you're in the real world. So you have like references to the Bible that says similar things that you have to be respected in your own home first before you can even talk to somebody about anything. So it starts home, and then when you get in society, it's pretty much the same thing. You have to be a servant. You have to be impactful and meaningful to someone in a positive manner, even if it's just smiling, waving at them, or whatever. You have to be able to help and influence people positively as a man.
Okay. Good job. Thank you. Jeremiah, same question. Would you like for me to repeat the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is a male's role in the house and in society? Your answer.
A man's role. I think a man's role is to. I do agree. I want to piggyback off of serving. for sure. I think that we have a natural, as men, we have a natural inclination to want to solve issues and solve problems. I believe that most times we cannot solve every problem, but I think that our duty is to see to the solution. So even if it's not something we can handle, and it might be one that the divine can handle, at least I'm going to play my role into seeing to that a solution is found. I may not be able to solve every problem within my household. I may not be able to solve every problem in the community, but I'm able to play a role in the solution and or at least try to help, or at least see it through until the solution is found.
Okay. And in society?
Yeah, even like I said, even in the community, society, I think that men are okay. Well, it's similar, but like also let me change it up a little bit. With society, I think we are the backbone. Honestly, man, I think that men versus our female counterparts, I believe that female counterparts are going to enhance whatever we're doing. So if we're not necessarily um, being the best versions of ourselves, they're just going to enhance the bullshit that we're on. And so I think that we do have to hold ourselves accountable and definitely try to be the best we can be because whatever we are, they just gonna our counterparts will enhance it, and that's the whole society right there.
All right, thank you. And we want to get Ifa Bukola's perspective on the same question. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Sure, go ahead and repeat the question.
Males, what is your opinion on the male's role in the house and in society?
Okay. In both cases, I would say to provide leadership through security, order, and justice. Yeah.
Can you expand on that?
Well, I start with leadership through these, three values because um, he would need to use initiative, and use the level of authority to make sure that there is always a sense of security in the environment and that there's always some kind of order in the environment where chaos is minimalized, dysfunction is minimalized, and also justice, to make sure that the grievances of others are addressed or that grievances could be prevented, in a sense. And I think that that's a good way that we could serve the home and society, through leadership, through taking those initiatives.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Yeah.
the answer to that question. We are going to move on to the next question, and I am expecting a another surprise panelist who's going to be a special guest this evening.
All
Hopefully,
right.
yeah. So the more the merrier. This is going to be a all males perspective, gentlemen from every I think generation to give their opinion and to answer these questions open and honestly. Okay, next, what do you think a woman's role is? I'm gonna start with you, Jeremiah. What do you think a woman's role is in the house and in society?
A
This is your
woman's
perspective.
a woman's role is to I believe a woman's role is to nurture and assist um, in the household. I don't like I said. I believe that if the men's role is to serve and also to lead, like kind of like piggybacking off of what Bukola said. I feel like um, then you can't have two leaders. It doesn't really work that way. So I think it's to nurture and assist and to just maintain, to provide corrective vision when needed, and that's just in the household. Um, when it comes to and you said society, society, man, that's interesting. Uh, I don't know yet. Society. Let me think about that more. I feel like it's similar, but it's a little different because now what's their role in the world? I don't know. I don't. It's kind of a for me. It's a little bit of a broad question, so I'm not really sure. I want to hear everybody else's perspective on that.
I guess maybe I'm asking, what do you think, if maybe in what you expecting from your woman, the ideal woman, what is her role in your household and in what you think that woman's role should look like in society?
So you saying what my ideal role of what my woman would do when she goes out
Yes,
in
yes,
society? Okay.
yes.
And in terms of like what adding to society, or are you talking about like just
Just what you think she should be contributing to society.
she should be considered as a great example for other women. Modest for sure. We talked about our last panel, the last one of our last podcasts we had, where we talked about Bukola mentioned how the power of woman is in her beauty and the power of men is in their strength. And so I would believe that she would use her beauty responsibly. Just like great power becomes great responsibility. I think she's not misleading. She's not. She's not abusing the power, but yet she's also still firm on her beliefs too. Like she's not a pushover. She's not this person that's allowing deception to come through, but she's just loyal to the greater good of the community, of the society, and also to me. I feel like she's my girl, my woman.
Okay. Next, Will, same question. What do you think your ideal woman's role is in your household and in society?
In my household and in society, he said the word very perfectly. She should be responsible first and foremost. Responsible.
Mm-hmm.
She should be able to make good decisions and know what the outcome would be. So I would say she should be intuitive. Um, she should also be someone who, simply put, I would say, look great. Work, and help, like impact others and look great while doing it. Um, I think that's something that is like very, very good because
Okay.
I remember all the stuff my pretty teacher said. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I think that yeah, they should be well kept, and I agree, modest in the manner, but they should be able to impact in the household and influence me to go work harder. That's the whole goal for her. Influence me to work harder or work smarter, whichever phase I'm at, and help support the things that she can help me bring to fruition. So whether that be she has an idea or I do, but I would like to receive aid in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just a hey, maybe approach this differently. So they should be able to also lead. I believe women are leaders as well. We can coexist as leaders. Doesn't make one of us better or worse than the other. It just means that there are different roles. There are different, it's like a team. You might be better
Okay.
at degrees than
All
me.
right. Yeah. Well, thank you. And if I would call our same question, what do you think a woman's role, your ideal woman, is in your household and in society?
Well, first of all, these are really great. These are really great questions. I'm glad that you're hosting and this
Thank you.
this idea, this initiative, and I'm glad we get the chance to talk about these things. I'm really appreciating what everybody has to say about it. Um, so for me, I would say the word viscosity comes to mind. You understand that she would have leadership through um, viscosity, nurturing, efficiency, and advocacy. So I would say, yeah, nurturing, advocacy, and efficiency overall. Yeah.
Okay, so break down viscosity for me.
Okay. So what I mean by viscosity is um, when you have when you're working with something that's rigid, such as steel, iron, woodworks, whatever have you, there has to be some type of viscosity for it to, to have to preserve its life, and at points of friction, so that it can have efficiency, you know, so it can harmonize, the metal parts, for example, and tools, car parts, all of these different things requires grease, oil, at the friction points. Otherwise, it's a lot of wear and tear, corrosion. You're going to run into a lot of problems at friction points, and, damage is done. A woman's sensitivity and intuition, it really serves well for where there could be points of friction, because she's inclined to be sensitive about matters of security and emotion. So I think that she has the best insight into what would mean fairness, and what would mean care, what would mean honoring other people's feelings, different things of that nature. And that's why I use the other word too, advocacy, that she should take leadership in matters of advocacy. She feels things that a man can't feel. She detects things that a man cannot detect. So those are gifts, that she has through her nature. So it should serve a purpose, and she should have leadership in that. And what I mean by leadership is taking initiative through that, and also using her influence so that it can have advantage, so that it can make its way. Somebody needs to be advocated for. Somebody needs a diplomat, or between people who have differences and grievances, there needs to be some type of diplomacy, negotiation, fairness, uh, reciprocation, things of that nature. So women are very sensitive to these things, and I think that that's where her leadership could really serve a household and the community overall, is bringing viscosity to every situation. And I say viscosity to every situation because it does go along with efficiency, making something efficient. You add oil to metal parts, and you have efficiency when they're, working in some type of technological, form or position. Advocacy, obviously there could be some challenges or difficulty where someone who's weaker, someone who may be intimidated or shy, children,
Mm-hmm.
elderly, people who don't want to speak up about something, but she feels it, she senses that something's there. You understand?
Yeah.
And she
Yeah. So,
advocates. Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm. Good, good, good.
Sure.
I want to make sure that we get chance to get some more, because
Sure,
we
sure.
have a lot of good questions. And once again tonight, first of all, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to this channel. Take a minute and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe and share. We have our guest, once again, a special guest on, who is going to be representing the younger adult, 18, 19, 20, 21 region area. And tonight's topic is, once again, roles. What is a man's role in the household and society, and what is a woman's role in the household and society? I'm not going to ask you, I'm going to give you a chance to get comfortable and settle in, but I will come back to you. My special guest just joined us. We got Halim, who is representing the 18-year-old. Welcome, Halim. Halim, just say hi a little bit.
Hey,
Greet
Welcome, Aline.
greetings.
everyone.
Can y'all hear me?
Halim, you there?
Can y'all hear me?
Sure,
We
I
can
can hear
hear
you.
you.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Halim, and I am representing the 18-year-olds.
All right, all right. Good, good,
I'm
good.
glad you're here. Glad
The
you're here.
young adults in the building. That's good. Okay, so we asked the woman's role. Okay, your idea of what the woman's role is. Okay. What do you think has been the toughest aspect of your role as the man? Ifa Bukola, you start first. What do you think has been the toughest thing of your role as the man?
I think the toughest role is meeting a person where they're at when they're in say, emotional crisis. I think that's the toughest role, is to learn how to communicate through emotional layers without causing injury or offense. That I think that that's one of the biggest challenges.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna go with Will. You next in this one. What do you think your toughest role has been? Toughest thing has been in your role as the man.
Being receptive. Um, yeah, I would say being receptive. People call it stubbornness, but being receptive to, you know, as a whole, I would say just being receptive to leadership,
Okay.
not just from male or female, just in general, being receptive and how, um, just being able to quickly process, no matter which angle, the leadership is given, to be able to process what the intention is right away. So, and being receptive, I would say.
Okay. All right, Jeremiah, same question. What has been the toughest thing that you feel like for your role as a man?
Taylor Rose, man. I think defining what it is to be a man.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that one? Can you elaborate a little bit more, brother?
No, that was simple. Just defining what it means to be a man. I feel like there's so many definitions. When it comes to so many false definitions. There's people that tell you're driving the fastest car, wearing the nicest clothes, having the most
Yes.
women. It's just so many different definitions, and I think that there's something beyond all those things that truly identifies the value of a man and what it means to be one, and what it means to be a valuable man. And so I just feel like that was always been a hard thing for me, just trying to really define that because yeah, typically they say you need your father in your life to do such a thing, but sometimes not even your father had figured it out. So I definitely say like just defining what it means to be a man, and especially a good one.
All right. All right. Good. And I'm going to ask my special guest not that same question. I want to ask you the overall and general question. Helene, what do you think your role as a male for a young male, your age group, is in your household and in society?
Um, so you really, I don't know. That's kind of what I was gonna say for the previous question. I was gonna say it's kind of at this point in life, it's kind of hard finding that role. That's what I was about to say, the challenge. So I think it's kind of difficult trying to find the role at this age because you're just not leaving, childhood and you're just not entering adult. But in terms, there's still special cases where you're still considered a child in many instances. So I think right now, my biggest challenge, I would say, is trying to figure out what is my role right now and what is my role in society and in the household. Because in the household with the father, you still are under the father, but there's still
Mhm.
certain roles and things you are now having to pick up, entering the adulthood. So it's kind of trying to find the balance, and I just think that's the biggest challenge I'm going through right now.
Yeah, good, good, good. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. And then, so we're going to move to the next question. Quick fire. What do you think is the biggest threat to your role as the man? What do you think is the biggest threat to your role as a man? I'm going to open this up with Jeremiah.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
What do you think is the biggest threat to your role as a man?
Um, biggest threat. I think the biggest threat of my role as a man is just not being allowed to to act in that role. I think that a lot of times we're very emasculated in different scenarios, whether it's with your woman or whether it's with family or whether it's with the world. We're not allowed to actually I believe that we're not actually allowed to act in our masculine nature, or to actually kind of like fuck up to become that man. You know, like this trial and
Mhm.
error in a lot of things, and I don't think that's it's not always a safe space, because I feel like it's a high magnifying glass on us. Like I said earlier, like because we are the dictators of it all. At the end of the day, like it may not seem like it, but if men change their ways, women will surely follow. And I feel like, so because there's a magnifying glass on what we do, whether it's right or wrong, I think that we're, it's hard to actually try to really figure it out. So because you're thinking like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't want to fuck up, because then it might be exaggerated. Exactly, like he fucked up. He's a man or whatever. Oh, he's supposed to be a man, and like, damn, can I figure out what it means to be a man first? Can I can
Yeah.
I can I be allowed that space, and can you still grant me that same respect enough to like not walk over me because you think that I'm not fully there yet?
Okay. I'm going to ask you the same question. Helene, what do you think is the biggest threat to your role for your age um, out there?
Um, the biggest threat tomorrow for my age, I kind of think the biggest threat for us is kind of like society and slash social media. I think there's a lot of ideal, people that they see out there, and it's like if we're not necessarily up to those standards or doing the same thing other people are doing, whether it's like we're in college or playing a sport or something like that. If we're not fitting in with the same thing society, is showing on social media and everything, they try to basically downplay you, hate on you. So it's like the threat is basically society or the social media aspect of it. Because I feel like there's certain cases where you can be doing something even though it's not the same route everybody else been going, and then they start hating on you or start looking down on you just because it's not the typical route most men or most young boys at this age are going on. So I think just the threat, is
Mhm.
um, people seeing social media, seeing certain ways people this age are going, and then when you're not going the same way, they tend to downplay you or look differently at you.
So your threat is social media.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. All right. That will go. I'm gonna go to Will. You. What do you think is your biggest threat to your role as a man in this society?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The biggest threat to my role in society, um, I would say lack of information and promotion of the bad stuff, like promotion of like hypersexuality or just a whole bunch of things like he was saying as far as like social media and just the things that are promoted that's always in our face. We might have questions about. Um, and then not having that male accountability, that's a big threat to us as well. If we don't have other seasoned males around us who we could confide in, talk to or trust, um, that's going to be difficult for us to try to figure it out on our own. Because I'm one of those people that I kind of just stick to myself and figure it out, like trial by fire. But I could have avoided a lot of mistakes if I talked to somebody older, even if it's not
Absolutely.
like a father or somebody. You could have talked to anybody, um, and they would have been able to probably steer you in the right direction. But
Okay.
because it's not like a thing that we're advocating for as a mass, then that doesn't get done, and people fall into those traps.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, in a one word, your threat is what?
If in one word,
Yes.
uh, in
One to
one word,
two, maybe three words. I don't know.
the
Sum it up
biggest.
real. Uh huh.
Okay, got to summarize it. Um,
Because you had a lot and it was very valid. But I want you to sum all of that up into, you
I got
know,
3 words: lack of
go ahead.
information.
Lack of information. There you go.
Yeah,
You right. I like that. Lack of information. Yeah, or resources. Yes. Yes, I like it. And Ifa Bukola, you gonna round this one up. We're gonna
Sure.
come from that older perspective, male perspective. What do you think the biggest threat to your role as a man has been or is?
Okay. Well, first, I can't help but to say I love what I'm hearing. And I
Mhm,
also, I really appreciate what I'm hearing on here. And I hope you brothers, and I myself, I hope we all will come back and listen to it, and actually, follow behind it because
mhm.
it's really rich things being said, and that could really lead to good places. But the way I would
Yes.
answer that is, for me, it would be lack of integrity and pride. I think those two things, lack of integrity and pride.
Mm. Oh, expound, please.
Well, through pride, I think that I could miss a lot of opportunities to to practice self love, to put myself in the best positions, to prioritize my well being, and not put myself in unnecessarily, well, in circumstances that are not necessary to put myself in, to create my own demise, through pride, create my own downfall. Also, lack of integrity with that, character flaws, character is the assassination of a man. A man certainly gets assassinated through his character, his image and his reputation. Once I don't have that, I really don't have anything to work with. I could lose everything. I've experienced that before. I can have many downfalls. I've experienced that before. But if you still have your character, you still have your values, still have your integrity, in a humble heart, to learn, then any and everything is possible. It could still happen.
Mhm. Okay. So you're saying the actual meaning and word definition of those words, integrity and pride, or lack of integrity and pride.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
From self and from others?
Self, you know.
Self.
Yeah,
What
I
you
think the
perceive,
biggest
what you
threat,
were lacking. Okay.
yes, I think the biggest threat would be for me to lack integrity and to have too
Be
much
too
pride.
prideful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to have too much pride.
Yeah. Be prideful. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so next question.
I want to
How
say. I'm sorry.
Please, yeah. Let's respond to that.
No, I
Anybody
was
want
going.
to respond to some of those stuff? Because that was like all of it was so deep. If y'all want to respond to each other and rebuttal or come in,
Yeah.
absolutely, let's do that.
No, I just want to say I agree. I like that perspective. What Bokola said. Bokola said. He said the pride and integrity. I think that also. I guess it kind of also falls under accountability with me. I feel like us men we need to have more integrity as well. So like I said, well, based on what I had said earlier, was just not having that space to be able to to figure it out, to fall and figure out how to what it really means to be a good man, or like kind of really step into that role of a man. Um, but also having that grace, wanting to have that grace from people around you or people that may be under your leadership. One to have that grace, it also takes integrity. You can't be out here like, you know what I'm saying, and like wilding and then expecting us to also treat you with this utmost respect, as well as following right behind you whenever you say let's do something, or giving you that grace. So
Mm,
I do agree with that.
okay.
Definitely have that integrity. So
Yeah, absolutely.
hmm Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. Anybody else? Opinions, comments,
No, for
panelists.
sure. Yeah, nah, for sure, for sure.
Comment
I'm
in the
not.
comment box. This is live. You guys are a part of this. So
Yeah,
make sure y'all comment as well. But anybody else want to comment on that?
yeah, I do too. I think that integrity is definitely necessary because I think having integrity is also going to a male and telling them what you got going on, so that way you don't lean on to your own understanding and mess up.
That's
So
powerful right there, brother. That's very powerful. You saying that. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate
That's
that.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Like, yeah, man, because it can be scary because you don't get judged. You know what I'm saying? I done went to people, I went through churches and whatnot, trying to tell them what I got going on. It's like I felt like they turned on me after that. I'm like, dang, like you know what I'm saying? I'm like, these churches
Mm.
was they for the women. They just want the women in there. They don't really want us in the church.
Yeah, and it's a crime
Oh,
shame
shoot.
when we do that, because if somebody comes to you in confidence,
Oh,
they
no.
should be able to trust. I mean, it literally is coming to somebody in confidence. You
Man,
know,
Mm-hmm.
literally,
yeah, it's betrayal. To go behind that person, and do them like that when they come and trust in you. They're vulnerable. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
man.
can you help me? And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have brotherhood, you know we're supposed to seek counsel, in each other. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to be prideful and act like we have it all figured out, because we don't, and we never will either. You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Awesome. Amazing. I love what is going on here. Helene, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Not really anything additional. I just really agree with what everything was said.
Okay. Thank you so
Well,
much. Okay.
well, I
So,
did. Yeah,
uh-huh.
pardon me. Yeah,
No,
I
go
did want
ahead.
to say something,
Absolutely.
that I really appreciate what Halim, was expressing, and I believe Jeremiah was saying something along the same end. But something came to mind while he was expressing about, uh, you know, finding yourself, or finding what, your role really means, at different stages of your life. And I just want to say, from an older man's perspective, there is grace for you to figure out these things. And, you're going to choose many things, and then you're going to change your mind many times. But changing your mind doesn't mean that you made a mistake. It doesn't mean that you went the wrong way. It doesn't mean that you wasted time, because every experience builds upon the other. It's like pillars that are being set up, to allow something else to rest upon it. And it
Mm-hmm.
becomes the depth, the layers and the depth of your perception, becomes the depth of your wisdom. You have to dig downwards, to allow that tree of your wisdom to grow up. Those roots have to go down first. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're exploring different things, in your life, you might start out being a dishwasher, working at the pizza place, fixing cars, and then next thing you know, you're building houses. And each time you think that you figured out who you are, but really what it is that there's an attitude that you're going to find that you always had, and there's a conviction that you always had. There's a spirit in yourself, a certain kind of spirit that you always had. And you're going to look behind you, you're going to find out, oh, that's who I am. Not being the fireman, the pizza man, the dishwasher, the car mechanic. None of those are who I am. Who I
Mm-hmm.
am is who I am consistently choosing to be every time I go somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
do something. That's who I am. And it takes time to discover that. But you get grace, as I think William said that. You get
Mm-hmm.
grace as you figure these things out. And whatever it is that your heart is excited about, whatever you get happy about, lean into that. Become obsessed with what makes you really excited about doing. When if it's mechanical, if it's planting flowers, I don't care what it is. If it
Mm-hmm.
makes you really excited to do it, get
Mm-hmm.
obsessed with it. A man is supposed to be obsessed with his craft, you know, and look for a master and become the student until you become the master, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have to do that many times, and that's just a little, advice. It's not perfect, but it's something,
It's something
Yeah.
fire. That's what it is. That's fire. You know what I'm saying?
no doubt.
You gotta have a master, you know what I'm saying? And, I looked at it from oh, I ain't nobody's slave, but you have to be a slave to your craft, whatever it is, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I think that's like it's not my problem, but I felt like that was a problem for me. That the things that I'm interested in, I become obsessed with, I consume it, I digest it. Like I'm a person that I need to keep that going. It's like I have a huge appetite for like the things I'm obsessed with. So I'm gonna keep on, inheriting information, because if you seek it, you're gonna find it. So I'm gonna find somebody randomly in a conversation, just start telling me about it, whatever. So I thought that was an issue for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's definitely a good thing. We should be obsessed about, what our heart is lit on fire about, what we're excited about doing, and put your heart into it. Yeah, most definitely. And with as far as the master and the student polarity there, um, I was in the nation before, and Minister Louis Farrakhan, he taught something, in my beginning years, back then. What he taught was humility is the first step to knowledge. Humility. That's what makes a student, is humility. And it took me all through my 20s and my 30s to know what that really meant, because I changed crafts and trades and different things like that, and I didn't like being told what to do. I didn't like, not knowing what's going on, all these different things. And that's when I learned, hold up, my ego can get in the way of my growth. It can get in the way of my opportunities. It can get in the way of my blessings. So let me get out of my way. Now I see what humility means, because when we have humility, we have a cup that's empty and it could get filled. When we don't have humility, you pour water into a full cup, it's full of what you think, it's full of what you believe, it's full of what you think you know. So you can't receive and not receptive. We have to have an empty cup so that we could be receptive, especially when we're around masters, people who have mastered what they do. Knowledge is not the principle. Wisdom is, So we have to have humility as we absorb the knowledge. However, wisdom is the principal thing.
Wonderful.
I'm snapping.
Wonderful.
I'm
Hey,
snapping right.
hey. Look, hey, you got that. And the Grammy goes too. And the Oscar goes too. Okay, next question. Quick fire, quick fire. Do you no? How can a woman, I'm reading from my notes, y'all. How can a woman help with assisting you in your role? How can a woman help assist you in your role? I'm going to start with William on this.
How can a woman help me assist me in my role? Uh,
Yeah.
I believe through action, she should inspire me. Like I said, inspire me to work hard and to um, do it in a very intelligent way. I didn't believe that women were smarter than men, because I'm just like, I'm a man. But I'm really starting to understand the depth of a woman's mind and the power that they truly possess. And it's very humbling. It's very humbling, to be able to be influenced by a woman in that manner. If they're responsible, again, um, they can influence you to do way better, or they can influence you, like, to Jeremiah's point, they can influence you to be worse. If you worse, then it's,
Mhm.
so, because
You're
I
right.
understand the power of that influence that y'all have, you know what I'm saying? I think that they should be responsible while influencing me in the most impactful way. Whatever it is that I'm trying, whatever it is that whatever we can conceive together, let's do it.
Perfect. Okay, okay. Same question. How can a woman help with assisting you in your role? Ifabukola.
Well, that's a loaded question, but I'll be keep it simple though. uh,
Mhm.
it actually is simple though. I would say efficiency, assisting me in reaching quiet of mind, and emotional support. I would say those three things.
Please elaborate. You can't keep it simple. Please elaborate. When it comes to a woman, you're going to
Okay.
have to elaborate.
Okay. When I say efficiency, a man can find contentment in the most elemental environment and circumstances. And because of that, we may not reach the efficiency or the perfection that we have the potential to reach, because we already became satisfied and content with, what we're doing or where we're at. However, a woman has uh, she has dissatisfaction that leads to efficiency and perfection. And the dissatisfaction, I don't mean to, to say that to trigger, a negative thought of that, but more so like quality control. You understand? A quality control department. This is a nice house, but it would be better if we could paint this. This is a really, good home, but none of the colors match. You understand? These type of things. A man could sit in the same chair, every day, and he's content with, that little hole that's in the chair, his favorite shirt with the cigarette burn in it. You understand? But she comes along and she
I
adds,
know somebody.
yeah. So she comes along and she brings efficiency and harmony to the situation. Not only that, women are gifted with retaining information and putting it straight into an operation. Women are really gifted with that, especially with the multitasking capabilities. Their minds are wired to put so many hands on different things at the same time. So whatever a man is doing, okay, she can improve him and make him even better if he's willing to listen, if he's willing to participate, if he's willing to show up, in a unified attitude. Also, she's always looking for how she can harmonize something. You understand? How she can make the landing softer. That works toward efficiency as well. And what I mean by quiet of mind is, if a man can find a quiet mind, he can find a strategy, and women have the potential to do that effortlessly. You come in disturbed, you're stressed out or whatever else, but it just so happens that, if you take care of yourself and you smell really good, it somehow all that pain just goes away. I think all of us men and young men on here can relate to what I'm saying. You just get one glance at her and all the pain just suddenly goes away. It's like you got a shot of morphine or something. It's one of the miracles and mysteries of women. The emotional support. She can she can do some emotional damage. She also can do some emotional production, productivity, to your situation as well. So, she has power and authority in the realm of emotions. So she's able to home in on what emotional support that you might need at any time, even if in my pride I'm denying it. Does that make sense? And she knows how to show up for that, to make sure that I have enough emotional vitality to push through any obstacles, in resistance.
Okay, so that's efficiency. And what was your second one?
Quiet of mind.
And you already talked about that. So you
Yes.
summed it up. So my
Yes.
next person, I want blah 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 blah. Let Jeremiah, you go ahead and tell me what your answer is to that. What do you think a woman can do to assist you in your role as a man?
Um, what can a woman do to assist me in my role as a man? Right?
Yes, that's it.
Um, I think. Oh man, it was so much. I'm still processing everything that's been said by Will and Bacola, but
Right.
yeah, it was a lot.
Anybody care to comment on what Bukola said? Give Jeremiah some
But
time to think. But anybody want to comment? Listen,
uh,
Bukola, you need to stop. We
I'm
said
not
this
saying
is
you
quick
stop. It's
fire.
No,
crazy.
I gave a short.
We said this is quick fire.
Nah,
I
he
I
got
didn't
he got he
say
got
short
hollow
that
answer.
you
tips,
being
don't he?
so profound.
He got hollow tips, don't he? Not good. Nah, but
That brother deep right there. I ain't gonna lie.
right, right.
No,
Containment,
I'm just
Bukola,
hard headed, and I
containment.
learned a few things.
Oh, you
That's
want to please share. Is that okay? Share how you've learned so much about
no.
women. I no,
Oh man.
please. It's such an interesting,
Hey,
very
Well,
hey, nah, see,
interesting.
listen, I ain't gonna lie. Because considering how deep he is, I know he got a lot to say about it. And I think we gonna go,
Please, please,
but we gonna
Bukola.
go. But
This
that's a
this
whole different. That's a whole different pod.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know, but
yeah. That might be
it is. But quickly, just quickly.
No,
Just
okay.
give me a quick background
Okay.
of how you
So,
understand.
what I really believe it all. Well, where I know it all came from is, in my younger years, I had a lack of restraint and a lot of immaturity around my appetite for women. There was nothing I appreciated or liked more about women, in life, and I couldn't resist. I couldn't help myself. It's just I went through a lot. I created a lot of troubles for myself. I created a lot of problems for myself. I also, created a lot of blessings, for myself as well. But I learned many things by doing things the wrong way. And I learned a lot of things by making a lot of mistakes and poor decisions when it came to women. And what I ended up learning after many years of, reflecting on my experiences is that women are a direct route to wisdom. Okay. They're a direct route to wisdom because no matter what you study, no matter how many pages you turn in a book, you get a knowledge, you get an information. That's great. But a woman is what subjects you to the lessons of wisdom because it takes all of your being to be able to meet her where she's at and win her confidence and her trust and keep her confidence and trust as well. That is a master of himself who's able to pull that off, and that's what I learned.
But do you mind if we go over really quick of how you've learned that? Do you mind giving a little bit of more of your personal background?
Well, personally, I've been married 2 times, and both times I had 2 wives. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The first time I had 2 wives for 8 years. The second time I had 2 wives for, I want to say, 2 years. Okay. And then there was, some issue with the second one and all that other stuff.
Hmm.
But I learned from those concentrated relationships. And I also was what's called a wali or guardian, to my 2 wives, my mother and my aunt, during a certain season of, 5 years before that they
Hmm.
got married again and all these different things. And being around women so much and caring for women and children in a situation, it it forced me to learn uh, something instead of being in the boyfriend girlfriend situation where, oh, I'm tired of you, I'm going to go back to my place. No, you're married, so you got to deal with that person, you got to figure it out. And what you end up figuring out is it's never the other person, it's always you. Actually, the other person is a mirror that's helping you to see something about yourself that you probably don't want to admit, you know
Okay.
and it took me a long time to learn that.
Now, did you learn it more? Did you also learn it on the street at
Oh,
some point in
absolutely.
time where you got to connect with women more on the street level? How
Yeah,
was that?
absolutely. Because being in the habit of womanizing, okay, you're subjecting yourself to all kinds of curses, and you understand covenants and things that you have to work your way out of. And when you go through things like that and you subject yourself to curses and covenants, now you have to work through karma and you have to work through purging of the soul. You have to work through salvation to get to the clarity of what it is. Because ultimately, you're not learning what decisions to make. You're learning why you made the decisions that you made.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes many years to understand in hindsight why you were making those decisions. And when you find the answer, you're going to find that the answer is I had an illness in me. And the illness is always something that lacks light. So how do I get illumination to this darkness that's over energy that was meant for good, not for bad? You see? And that's
Yeah.
where spiritual understanding came from,
And
yeah.
And I definitely wanted you to be able to speak to that because I know you were a bodyguard or some sort to women
Yeah, I worked in clubs
at
too,
some point in time. So you've always been around women when you were in
yes,
Miami or
always,
something like that.
a bouncer, and I was personal trainer to strippers and all this, all kind of stuff, so uh yeah, all that.
Yeah. So you've been around plenty of women. You got to hear the inside, ladies' locker room. So and I appreciate that. So we're gonna go ahead and ask the last person who needs to answer that is Helene. How do you think a woman can help assist you in your role?
I mean, what is there to say now? I think everything has basically been said. Um, but really just
Yo,
agreeing with the emotional part. And because they a lot of times they say men are not emotional creatures, and we should tend to be a little bit more emotional, and it's okay to be more emotional. And I feel like because they say women are generally more emotional, I just think that they can really help us with that aspect of life. And to keep it short, I'm gonna just end there.
Mm. Mm.
you
Did
believe that boys
everybody get?
talk?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did everybody get a chance to answer that question? Because I got some more tomorrow. I want to make sure we get around. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. We're gonna go to the next one. This is
Hey,
deep. Hey,
you
y'all, we
sound like a
loaded. We
kid in the
loaded.
candy store right now.
I know, because
Hey,
it's so much. Oh, I love to hear the different generation of males on the phone right now. So, we're gonna keep it going. Quick rapid fire. Now, I want you guys to lessen your answers and your responses to quick fire because I got so much more, and I know we are wrapped for time. My producers are waving at me, telling me, yeah, it's time to go. Do you think that women now these days, black women especially, are delusional in what a man's role is?
Ooh.
Ooh,
Wait,
who
wait,
said
say,
ooh?
repeat that one more time.
Do you think women are delusional to what they think a man's role is?
Yes, yes,
Ooh, who said ooh? Who said
Yo,
ooh?
that
I
was a
want to
quick
hear
I
from
yes.
know
them.
she was doing.
yes.
I knew what she was doing when she asked this question.
They're definitely
Everybody
delusional.
say yeah. Who want to talk first? Who want to talk first?
It's Jeremiah. They're definitely delusional about what the man's role is. I honestly, I think due to pop culture and and I hate that. I don't hate to say it, but it is realistically like I think our due to us not also knowing either. So that how can we expect them to know when we don't know ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Like how can I expect you to get in my car and not leave trash if my car is dirty? Unless I know how to maintain and keep my car, then how would you actually truly understand and know? So I would say that one. But yeah, no, definitely for sure. Due to pop culture, they expect a whole lot of different things. It's like that's not even the core way, but like I said, the root of the problem. First, we have to fix the root. We have to nip it in the bud first, and that would be
Mm,
identifying. That would be
We quick. We quick. We quick. All
yeah.
right. All right. Sum it up. That was good. Who's next? Who's next? Come on in. I ain't calling names on this one. Who's next? Okay, Helene.
Can you repeat the question one more time? I'm sorry.
I said quick fire. Do you think that women are delusional
Um,
in what they think a man's role is?
I I don't. I would say like I think especially like you're saying target towards black women a little bit more. I think recently they have become like more independent. So I think that they're the role of a man kind of gets mixed up in their head sometimes.
Uh,
And I feel like sometimes they don't even fully know what they want in a man because a lot of times you would see they're contradicting their own stuff, like their own self. They would say they
Mm,
want one thing out of a man, and then they would want something else that kind of go against it. And I just think that it's confusing. They can sometimes confuse a men's role,
mm-hmm,
be,
mm-hmm.
and because they really have
Yes.
no,
Uh-huh.
I
and
want
They
to
like
ain't got no idea, right?
yeah,
I want to add on to what he said too.
Uh,
If you real quick, if you're talking about
mhm,
specifically black women, I think that the black race has been oppressed. So I think that typically females, the female gender looks towards the man as their savior, as the hero, and so we're dealing with a problem that's beyond. I mean, it's been for a long time beyond just a single man doing of like freeing you from. I can't really truly free you overnight from oppression. So it's like in certain aspects, some of the systematic things that we deal with, they look to us to fix, but it's like I can't fix it overnight, especially over alone. I could try to make you as comfortable as possible, but some of the things you're looking for more so a way more broader answer than just what I can do for you in this right now moment.
mhm, mhm. Well, I don't hear you. Will,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm multitasking. I'm sorry, y'all. No,
do you
but
think women are delusional
I
in what
do.
they think your role is?
I do. I think we all delusional. I think everybody crazy and don't nobody know, and we all messed up trying to figure out what's going on. So
Right.
that's what I think. I think everybody got something wrong with them. It's like, what's wrong with
Yeah.
you? And we just trying to figure out what's wrong. And I'm realizing now that what's wrong usually starts at childhood. So once you figure out that stuff,
Mm,
we might not be so crazy. But that's
mm.
the tough part about it. That's the tough part. It's like, ah man, I was messed up as a kid. This is what happened. And, all right. Now you
Oh,
accept it
Will,
and you
Will.
good. Huh?
Oh my God, Will, you saying something we're gonna have another show about. Oh my God, Will, we're gonna follow up on that one.
All right, that's cool. That's cool.
Okay? We're
Yeah, I
gonna
won't go
follow up
too
on
hard.
that one. Ifa Bukola, what you got? What you got? Hurry up.
Hell yeah, they delusional. but but to be fair, I really believe that it's luxury is what it is. And what I mean by luxury is not just monetary things, but they have the luxury to be delusional. You know, it's kind of like a child has the luxury to be delusional or, distracted, in La La Land when they feel safe and secure behind something, such as their parents or the household. They walk around, playing and laughing and singing to themselves or whatever else. But they have the luxury because of the safety nets within the infrastructure of feminism in society. They know that that's a safety net. I don't have to be responsible for what I do and say. I'm entitled to everything that I say I want. And like they always say, who's going to check me? You understand? So,
Who gonna take me, boo?
right. So the delusion is enabled, is what I think.
Enabled by what? Feminism?
Oh, absolutely. The feminism is embedded in society. It replaced racism. You understand? So they're very aware of that. That from the courthouse to the school to the job site, uh, everywhere. If I drop one tear, I'm going to have a million alliances in an instant. And no matter if I'm the one who's wrong, I'm still right as long as I got a tear coming out my eye. So you better watch it, buddy. You know what I mean? Um, so the delusion, the unrealistic standards and expectations, because they can go to the Chinese beauty store and buy a wig and lashes and put on a costume, you know, oh, I'm a 10 now, so I deserve this kind of guy. I deserve that kind of guy. You understand? Uh, it's delusion. It's an art
Mm.
show. You understand?
Mm. You know what? And that definitely anybody want a rebuttal? Because that leads me into my next question. But anybody want a rebuttal to that?
Nah, I think you could go ahead and cook.
There was a period. There was a period on
Yeah.
that. Thank you, Ifa Bukola. Period.
Yeah.
Last question of the evening, and we wrapping up. This is our go home. Cause hey, guys, I had this was on my paper of questions I was coming up with all day today. And that was only half of the questions. I have a whole nother half sheet, but I understand that a lot of my panelists have to go this evening. So I'm going to shelve the second page or my other half for part two of Can You Relate? A woman and man's role in the household and society. I'm going to bring these gentlemen back, right? So we could do part two, and then we're going to have a panelist of just women. Yay! Women. So we can
All
get
right.
the woman's point of view. So the last
I'm about to
question.
say, whoop whoop. We get to
Woo,
get it in.
woo.
They be like,
Woo,
this is what
woo.
they be doing wrong. Yes.
Yeah, whatever. Pull out your notebooks.
Y'all
Pull
messed
out
Yeah.
your
up now.
notebooks.
I
Pull
listen to
out your
women.
notebooks and get ready to learn. Last question going in for tonight. What do you think women of other nationalities know their role or how to operate in her role more than the black woman? Who?
Hell yeah. Wait, one more time. One more time. One more time. Say it again. Say it
Eva
again.
Bukola, I said, do you think women of other nationalities know their role or know how to operate in their role more than the black woman?
I think that the black
Yes.
woman. I think the black woman is way more capable
This
of
is
really.
Jay Jeremiah
Hold on.
talking.
Yeah,
We need
Jeremiah.
to
Yeah.
know who's
It's Jeremiah.
speaking just
I
in
think
case
it's
they're
Jeremiah.
gonna throw roses or tomatoes.
Nah, yeah, I think the black woman can do the role even like the best out of all races. But I think that yes, there's other races that play the role better at the current moment. But yeah, currently, because like I mean, their coach, like a lot of coaches support it. A lot of coaches support them operating in that manner versus I mean, it's especially like the black woman coming from like slavery. A lot of times they were quite literally put in positions where they could not operate in that role. So it's like but versus there was a hand like there was in like other races, maybe in like just like Asia, there was at least 50% of the culture had the luxury of being considered royalty or had a luxury of still considered being whatever, like the ability to be feminine, and the other half maybe we're struggling, but like that was damn near 100% when it came to black people. So woman, like when they took your husband away and was like, you know what I'm saying, like raping you, it's like you had to like just adjust, and I just feel like that's why. But I think the black woman can do it the best if they were equipped with the same amount of experience.
Ooh, okay. I like that. There's so much more you can expound on that, but we press for time, so I'm gonna bring you back because there's so much we can expound on just that answer. Wow. Anybody else? Jay, Jeremiah just jumped in there. Anybody
Yeah.
else want to jump in there,
Yeah,
or do I need to call
I would
names?
love to.
I'll
Yes,
call
ma'am.
names.
Yeah, we present. We present. Can you hear
Who's
me?
this? Will?
Yeah,
Will?
it's Will. It's Will.
What? What you saying? Do
What
you
I'm
need me to
saying,
repeat the question?
please.
Okay. The question that is closing us out for the night. Do you think women of other nationalities know their role or operate in their role more than the black woman?
When I was listening to Ifa Bakola's talk, uh, initially I was gonna agree with him initially, and then when I was listening to Jeremiah talk, I'm like, all right, well, the beautiful thing about perspective is you can kind of listen and add in, or just tell how you see it. But how I see it is no, because black women aren't just American women. So we have American black women, and we have black women everywhere, and there are far more black women in the world than there are any woman. So maybe the American black woman struggles with her identity in that manner, uh, because it was intentional for her not to know who she is. But as a mass, no, the black woman does it the best. Everybody learn from the black woman. Everybody copies after the black woman. So at least that's how I've been taught and understanding. Everybody, has black influence, and black is far deeper than what we call it here in America. Everybody black, minus the people who not. You know what I'm saying? So as a mass, no. Black women know their roles, and they teach people how to, operate in theirs
Well,
at a rapid rate.
I want to say something to what you said. And that's as I was saying what I was saying earlier. I do think I thought about American women, but same time I realized that damn near what 99% of black people across any country was in slavery for at a point in time. So they were put in this. They may not have exactly the same type of treatment, but it definitely was slavery. Definitely definitely was oppression. Definitely was being put in a situation where they were thought less of. So I think that is what made them, like, they may not have went through the same exact American
Yeah, yeah, but
but
you gotta think America is like, it's a newer country, like compared to other places. It's newer. You know what I'm saying?
right,
That's why it hasn't seen, such crazy things that other places have, because it's still fairly new.
facts. But
So it's
regardless
like
though, somebody in
everybody's
Britain,
experienced. You gotta think everybody's experienced slavery, like you just said. Everybody's experienced oppression. Everybody's experienced it, and every time they come out on top, every single time.
right? But
So historically,
what I was saying is that the thing is, the one thing difference between the black woman and the other women of different races is that black women had a 99% to 100% rate of being in a situation where they weren't allowed to have that femininity and that softness. Versus there, like in Asia, there was at least 40 to 50% of women that was considered royalty, and they didn't have to do the same thing. They have to experience that oppression, so they were able to live within that femininity or in different cultures. And so, like,
well,
a black
they
there's
actually
a
did have to experience oppression, and some of those
no,
Asian
some of them
countries,
did, but not all of
bro,
them,
they
right?
beat they women to act like that.
I
You know
think
what I'm
that
Right,
saying? That's
I think
oppression.
that I think that Jeremiah's speaking to that some women were conditioned to be and operate more out of their masculinity than other women, when the men were definitely taken from the household and the woman was left to tend to the children and care for the farm and protect the land. So I think that that's what Jeremiah's speaking about. And so there's a level of masculinity that has to come with that when keeping your family and your land secure than operating out of the femininity.
like they're
So I wanna go ahead and get someone else's opinion. We wrapping up. No, go ahead. Who was that? Will?
no, that was
Nah,
me.
that was
I was
Jeremiah.
saying, very well. Like actually in Asian culture, women are supposed, like, you see, like a lot of the arts they have, they're supposed to, like, the idea is for them to be feminine, like to be this beauty, to use their beauty, which is what a previous pod we talked about. Bukola said that the power of the woman is her beauty. There's literally art showcasing women in a certain type of manner and certain type of modesty, and so that's what's idolized. So it's like, for the average black woman, or for the black woman, for most black women, at some point in this world, at least in time, they were in enslavement. So it's like they didn't necessarily, and it was taken away. They were whatever a slave master wanted to feel like he wanted to do. And typically, if you got to be a cruel person to enslave someone, so at that point, it's like I take away whatever I want to take from you, and I give you whatever I want to give you. And it's like, when you compare it to an Asian woman that has some type of culture to look towards, or some type of upbringing, or some type of hearsay she say about a femininity that I should embody, versus one woman that's like, I had no choice. That's all I'm bringing up. So it was a lot
Yeah.
less of a choice for a black woman than it was for other women of culture. So if you want to say, yeah, they're doing it better, yeah, 100%, I get it. Like, because they have a little bit of, at least 40-50% of their ancestors had a choice to be able to be better. But as far as black women, they really didn't have a choice, and they're just now starting to actually have a choice to try to be better. And so it's starting to, but we got to be take accountability and realization, like, be aware of, like, our circumstances.
But women can change it. Women can turn it around, but they have to start now. They should have been started, because this level of how we are showing up and showing out right now, we are digressing instead of progressing. We are showing. That's a whole nother show, y'all. Okay, who else
That's
wants
the
to
show for the
comment?
ladies.
Yeah, huh?
That's the
Who
ladies.
else wants to comment? Who hasn't commented? I'll call your names out. I know it's two of y'all still left. Go ahead.
Uh, I'll go. Um,
Who,
this
who's
is
this? William?
this, this is Helene.
Helene. Okay. You want me to repeat the question?
No, I just kind of want to piggy off of what Jeremiah was saying.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Um, no, I was gonna bring that up, but he kept elaborating it more, so it kind of took from what I was gonna say. But basically, other cultures they do show the women in that more feminine state, and like what he was saying about the art, you know, I'm actually taking an art class right now, and a lot of the art that they show is like either statues or paintings or anything like that. And most of the time, it has like a woman with like, it could be like a bow or something like that. Just simple symbolic meanings that's putting them in that feminine more position.
Yeah.
So, kind of just a little bit. I just want to talk about that. How there was, uh, there are like other, groups out there that do push their women to be more feminine than like the black culture or whatnot.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And that's from young, 18 and plus, or even he catching the people a little bit under him too. There's other nationality and societies. Thank you for that. Ifa Bukola, you awfully quiet.
Hey, I'm waiting my turn.
It's
I
your
really
turn. You're
appreciate
the
this
last one.
dialogue.
Last but not least. Last but not least.
Yeah, yeah, I really appreciate everything everyone's saying. It shows that there's sensitivity, there's understanding, there's compassion, and there's insight, as well, introspect. So you guys obviously think very deeply about this, and that's really what we need to have understanding. I want to add a small detail though that could possibly add to the picture is
Mm-hmm.
that she actually did overcome those things, from the slavery timelines of those traumas that would possibly lead to, uh, dysfunction, absence in family and her role and different things of that nature. She overcame that, and in the 60s, we never had a more prosperous time, as African Americans. We never had more victories in our history in America than that time. And it was because we had a strong family unit: man, woman, and child. Marriage was the common practice, marriage was the common culture, and everything evolved around the church. Uh, Other than the church, there was the Nation of Islam that came in, you know, uh, maybe 15 to 20 years before we had a zenith in the civil rights movement, which, one of our greatest prizes was the 1964 Civil Rights Act, that we gave to the world. However, that came from the family unit. So that shows she's more than capable. She's more than able. She overcame those things. So, with that being said, she made a decision. Lyndon B. Johnson, he introduced the welfare state. And that proposal, that offer, just like when the serpent in the garden came to Eve in the absence of Adam, she obliged to it. She took the fruit. And it's a repeat of what took place in heaven. Eve took the fruit when the serpent came to make a proposal, and she had to trade her husband to get the fruit. And that's what she chose to do. And that was her entrance into the welfare state. Now, the welfare state paired along together with feminism, in which it was white women whose idea it was, but knowing that African Americans are political revolutionaries, we are super fighters of civil rights demands and needs. We are super fighters. And so white women came to African American women to get them to bait into their cause. And African American women, being as brave as they were, they obliged to it. They took action. They did it. The other women stood along and wanted to have the benefits of it, the fruits of that labor, the rewards of that suffering. However, it's the African American woman who dared to subject herself to feminism and actually put it into action, to live it out in a reality, which is the consequence of her not having husbands as common as others, or a full neutral family as common as others. So there were two decisions that she made: entering into the welfare state, and that was through her own consent, and also through feminism, which was also through her own consent. So she chose that pathway, and it subjected her to pressure that forced her to have to find a solution in her masculine traits to survive it. And that transformed the nature of who she is, or who she was. She's still capable of those things. However, she overburdened herself by what she chose to subject herself to. And now she has to find her way out.
And that's the rest. That's your whole answer to the question.
Yes, ma'am.
That you believe other nationalities. I didn't get a yes or a no.
Oh, as far as other nationalities,
do you believe that other nationalities of women know their role
yes.
or operate in their role more than the Black woman?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like they don't know it better, any better than she does. I don't believe that they know it any better than she does. I don't feel like they are more capable than she is. But due to the circumstances, she chooses not to show up for it.
Ooh, y'all. Oh, y'all, I got so much more questions, but we're going to have to part two this.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I got so many more questions to the answers the brothers just gave, and part two to all these questions. We're going to have to tune in to part two. I'm hoping I can get all of the gentlemen who are representing the youth, the young men, the young adults, the older adults, and the elders. Well, we might have to bring an elder on one day. So and the elder is going to be someone who's 60 plus, right?
All right.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, amazing. So thank you guys. Thank you to all of my guest panelists who tuned in this evening. This is not all that we have for you, but this is just the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg. I thank Halim for being on. I thank, and I'm going up from age group 18, 17, 16, and always. So I'm going to say 16 through 20. Let me give that to Halim. And then we got Will and Jeremiah representing 21 to blah, 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 maybe 20. Oh?
I said 20, 21 to 52.
No. 20, 21 to maybe 29. And then we got Ifa Bukola with all his great wisdom and many, many, many experiences. He's gonna go ahead and pick up from
that's 40 to 200 right there.
He's gonna go ahead and pick up from there all the way up until we get an elder on the line. But you know, Ifa Bukola knows how to channel that elderly wisdom. So until we bring an elder on the line, he's gonna have to do us. So thank you guys for tuning in to Can You Relate? We were talking about the roles of men and women in the household and in society. This was part one, y'all. We're going to come with part two with the gentlemen, and then we're going to come with the ladies next time and get their perspective, okay? Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. And biggest of all, make sure you share. Share this knowledge, share this wisdom. This was epic. So you want to share this, all right? Thank you so much. Have a good night.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by guests on this
thanks,
podcast are
guys.
solely those of the guests and do not necessarily
Peace.
reflect the views, opinions, and positions of Shannon P., the host, and the business associated with this podcast. Shannon P. and the Can You Relate podcast crew are not responsible for any statements made by guests and do not endorse any opinions shared unless explicitly stated.